Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelove and this is Speedplay Horselords number 12. We left off with the full annexation of Germany, taking all of their lands. We do still have to deal with essentially just sitting on that one province you see blinking red until we can eventually get that. At any rate though, we are at a point where we can just continue to move forward, and the war with Germany was quite interesting in the sense that it's going to have a very long-term impact on how we fight our wars. Now, it won't take effect for this current war, as we have enough troops to just occupy everything and move on. We are bringing all of our troops, or all of our additional troops, back from Great Britain, as quite frankly there isn't really anything we need to worry about there anymore. We are cleaning out most of the provinces, and we're able to redirect our forces. However, as I was saying, the war with Germany has proven that we don't need to have an army capable of occupying every province at the onset of war. You will notice that we're at war with essentially Norway, Sweden, and just everywhere in the Baltic, or at least in Scandinavia. And while we are bringing forces to bear on everything in mainland Europe, and also sending forces over to their islands, the final islands we need to take in the Atlantic, we don't actually have enough forces ready to occupy all of Scandinavia. Now, previously I had been waiting to get such a significant force before actually moving into a new country and launching a new war. That had mainly been to just prevent enemy armies from sieging our countryside, and also to prevent them from getting enough forces amassed in order to do significant damage to our infernal columns. Now you'll notice that we do have a bit of an issue with enemy occupations throughout our Northlands. However, that's misleading. None of the provinces being occupied actually have anything in them. All they are is pasture land that is vaguely being occupied. They do build forts to occupy them. However, it's not really a strategic threat, and they don't really get any war score from it. Now, of course, we do still have provinces with holdings in them. However, the very nature of our infernal columns means that that's not really a threat, as they can't occupy any of our provinces with holdings on them, as we have infernal columns on all of those provinces, which ironically sort of defend the province from any attempt at being liberated by our enemies. Now, the final concern is that they might come with such a large group of forces that they'll be able to overrun any single infernal column. And at this rate, we don't have to worry about that. There are a few places where that might be a problem. However, in general, we're safe from that, because just geographically, most of the provinces with holdings are close to other provinces with holdings. So even if they do bring a force to bear that's large enough to harm or maybe even destroy a single infernal column, there are more than enough nearby to back them up, as we've seen with the last episode and the massive stack of several 100,000 enemies, or hostiles I guess we should call them, who weren't able to actually do very much damage, as we were able to pull the infernal columns back, form them up into a significant fighting force, and then bring them to bear. Ultimately, so long as we're able to do that, which we should be at really any point, we don't have to worry too much about enemy armies or really anything. The biggest threat to our continued advance and the pasteurization of the world is that we might accidentally settle and become a tribe. Now, that option pops up in the same decision tree, which allows us to pillage lands. In fact, if I were to slow the video footage down, or if you were to pause while I went to pillage any territories, you would notice that grayed out is the option to settle the nomadic clan as a tribe or a merchant republic or what have you on that province. Now, the reason that's grayed out is because we're at war. However, if we're ever to make peace, that option will no longer be grayed out. And the process, which I've basically learned to start automatically clicking in order to pillage territories, could inadvertently make us settle our clan and undo all of the progress we've made. Now, that only appears while we're at peace, and if we keep declaring wars that will last essentially forever until we have enough troops to fully occupy an area, and then we just go ahead and declare the next war, then that will never be a problem, as we'll never have a prolonged period of peace until we're the only independent state left in the world. And even then, we should have the occasional rebellion, which will put us in a state of war and allow us to safely pillage again. Ultimately, that means that, barring any really just major enemy army or a loss of control of the Cogonite, which admittedly we've faced several times in the past, barring those things, we should have a clear shot to the finish line now. Admittedly, the Russian steppes and just the complete wasteland that represents may prove to be a massive hurdle for us and our pasteurization efforts. However, for the foreseeable future, we are rather safe. Even now, we do have to face enemy armies of significant strength. However, our forces are dealing with them. Because we've pillaged so much land, we've been able to advance our technology and upgrade our tents to the extent that we have so many great passive upgrades to our armies that we really don't need to fear all that much from our enemies. At any rate, when we come back, we will finish our occupations of Scandinavia and continue our pasteurization. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We have entered a new phase of this conquest, and we will continue from here.